The placebo effect. Hello and welcome to the channel. Imagine you have a splitting headache. You pop a pill, drink some water, and within minutes you feel relief. But what if I told you that pill was just a sugar tablet? No active ingredient, no special chemical compounds, just a little white lie wrapped in medical authority. And yet, your pain disappeared. Welcome to the world of the placebo effect, where belief can be as powerful as medicine itself. The placebo effect is one of the most fascinating and bizarre phenomena in medicine. It challenges everything we think we know about healing, revealing that our minds can sometimes work wonders without any real pharmaceutical help. But how does it work? Why does it happen? And can it really cure diseases? Let's deep dive into this mind-bending topic and uncover the science, history, and downright weirdness of the placebo effect. What is it? What is the placebo effect? In simplest terms, the placebo effect happens when a patient experiences real improvement in their symptoms after receiving a treatment that has no therapeutic value. This could be a sugar pill, a saline injection, or even fake surgery. The key ingredient? Expectation. When you believe a treatment will work, your brain can actually trigger physiological responses that mimic the effects of real drugs. For example, if you think you're taking a painkiller, your brain might release endorphins, the body's natural pain relievers. If you believe a sleeping pill will knock you out, your mind might calm itself into sleep. It's essentially a self-fulfilling prophecy, but with biology backing it up. My own experience of the placebo effect is multiple. It's legion. I am sure every doctor has a similar story to tell, so mine is by no means special in any way. I recently had a patient of mine insist on coming in for her special. What exactly is her special? This lady has a trapped nerve which for years has never responded to steroid injections or infiltrations performed by the specialists, but which, strangely enough, do respond to a superficial injection of local anesthetic injected just under the skin. I have never been able to figure out why these superficial injections work for her and not the deep infiltrations I would expect to have a better effect. I just put it down to the placebo effect. Anyone else have an alternative theory? Please be sure to put it down in the comment section below. Let's take a look at a brief and bizarre history of placebos. The placebo effect is not a new discovery. In fact, it has been lurking in the shadows of medicine for centuries, even millennia possibly. In ancient times, doctors and healers had no real understanding of diseases. They relied on herbs, rituals, and in many cases, outright guesswork. Nothing's changed then. Just kidding. A shaman might wave some leaves over a sick person and claim they had been healed by the spirits. If the patient believed it strongly enough, they might actually start to feel better. Was it magic? No, just the earliest recorded placebo effects in action. Fast forward to the 18th century and doctors were already catching on. John Haygarth, an English physician, tested Perkins tractors, metal rods supposedly infused with healing powers. When he replaced them with wooden rods and saw the same results, he realized something profound. Patients were improving not because of the treatment, but because they believed they were receiving one. In the 20th century, researchers began systematically studying placebos. They found that fake treatments could help with pain, depression, and even some symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Today, placebos are an essential part of clinical trials, ensuring that real drugs perform better than the power of belief alone. The placebo effect isn't just psychological, it's deeply biological. Here's how it works. Brain chemistry gets a boost. When you believe a treatment will work, your brain releases chemicals that mimic real drugs. For example, endorphins, which are natural painkillers similar to opioids. A placebo painkiller can make the brain flood with endorphins, reducing pain just like a real drug would. Dopamine and serotonin, placebos used for depression, can trigger the release of feel-good neurotransmitters, basically proteins that are like little messengers that go between nerve cells, giving messages to them. And these make patients feel genuinely happier. The body's natural healing response. Belief can also activate the autonomic nervous system, which is literally an automatic nerve network that governs the cells and organs, functions and activities. They control the involuntary bodily functions like heart rate, digestion, and the immune response. Some studies suggest that placebo treatments can reduce inflammation, boost immune function, and even help wounds heal faster. Conditioning. Remember Pavlov's dogs? Pavlov was a scientist who trained dogs to salivate at the sound of a bell by associating the bell with food. The placebo effect works similarly. If your brain has learned to associate pills with feeling better, it might react the same way, even when the pill is fake, or even when the pill is absent. And now let's look at the weirdest placebo experiments ever. Because the placebo effect is so mysterious, scientists have come up with some truly bizarre experiments to understand it. Here are a few that will blow your mind. Fake surgery that works. In one study, patients with knee pain were divided into two groups. One received real surgery and the other received a fake surgery where doctors simply made an incision and stitched it right back up. Shockingly, many patients in the fake surgery group reported just as much pain relief as those who had real surgery. Color matters. Research has shown that the color of a placebo pill affects its effectiveness. Red and orange pills are more stimulating. Think of them like fake caffeine. Blue and green pills tend to have a calming effect, great for fake sleeping pills. Even when the pill is nothing but sugar, its appearance can influence how people feel. Expensive placebos work better. In one experiment, patients were given two identical sugar pills but were told one was a high-end painkiller. Guess what? The expensive pill worked better. It turns out our brains believe that costly treatments must be more effective, even when they're totally fake. Ethical dilemmas. Is it okay to trick patients? Difficult one. While the placebo effect is amazing, it raises some tricky ethical questions. Doctors can't lie to patients, or can they? If a doctor knowingly gives a placebo and tells the patient it's real medicine, that's deception. But if it helps the patient, is it really wrong? Difficult one. Honest placebos. Recent research suggests that even when patients know they're taking a placebo, they sometimes still experience benefits. This has led to the idea of open-labeled placebos, prescribing sugar pills but with full transparency. Now Now we move on to the nocebo effect, the evil twin of placebo. Just as believing in a treatment that can make you feel better, believing in negative effects can make you feel worse. This is called the nocebo effect. If a doctor tells you a drug has side effects, you're more likely to experience them, even if you're taking a placebo. If you believe a food will make you sick, you might actually feel nausea just from eating it, even if there's nothing wrong with it. The mind is powerful, but sometimes it works against us, but only if you let it. Can we hack the placebo effect? Good question. Since the placebo effect is real, can we use it to our advantage? Absolutely. Positive thinking. If you truly believe something would help, it might. In fact, it will. Rituals and routines. Taking a vitamin every morning, even if unnecessary, might still boost your well-being. This might sound like an advert for the pharmaceutical industry, but in some way or other, patterns matter, rituals do matter, and if we certainly believe in their therapeutic value, we can just use it to our advantage. Why not? Anything for good health, right? Conclusion. The placebo effect proves one thing: the mind is a powerful healer. While medicine and science are essential, belief, expectation, and hope can also play major roles in recovery. You've all heard the story. People who, with not so much as an ounce of hope, get up from their wheelchairs and walk, get cured from horrendous cancers, escape from horrible cancer prognoses that no one could have predicted in a positive light. There must be something behind this, right? We've all seen it. We've all heard of this. And it's actually very simple. If you believe in something, and this doesn't have to be only in religion. If you believe in everyday life that something good is coming to you, it will come to you. If you are negative, I'm afraid, as the law of attraction does predict, you will attract negative stuff to yourself. So if we have a choice between positive and negative, given that positive, no matter how difficult it is to achieve, actually, if it does work, brings good results, why not pick the positive? It might as well be the positive one, right? So from that point of view, in that sense, it is not rocket science. There have been many positive effects of, guess what? Positive thinking. Our thoughts are not just abstract feelings floating in our hearts. They have tangible effects on our physiology. Now, scientific studies have shown that optimism and positive emotions can trigger biological processes that support healing and well-being. One of the most astounding effects of positive thinking is stress reduction and cortisol control. When we experience stress, our bodies release cortisol, a hormone that in high levels can lead to inflammation, weakened immune response, and increased risk of chronic diseases, including cancer. I have covered this in previous videos. Please go and look at my library. You will be reminded. And if you have never looked at those videos, what are you waiting for? Go ahead. Go and look now. Positive thinking helps to reduce cortisol levels, allowing the body to maintain balance and function more effectively. An immune boost is certainly one of the other effects of positive thinking that by now should be well known. Faster recovery from illness, from pain, and also with things like wound healing. These are all effects that are out there. It's not a secret anymore. What's perhaps less known, less out there, is longevity of life. A study from Harvard University found that individuals who viewed aging positively lived on average 7.5 years longer than those with a negative perception of aging. This effect was stronger than traditional longevity predictors like cholesterol levels or smoking status. The reason? Simple. A positive mindset encourages healthier behaviors and reduces the impact of stress on the body. Now, this is why positive thinking is not blah blah, because in fact, when you do think positively, somewhere along the lines, you actually do the actions that do promote healthy and positive effects on your own health. It's a positive feedback loop that circles all the way back to help you. So it's not just an abstract thought, which in some abstract way has an abstract effect on your body. In fact, what happens is your abstract thought promotes you to take abstract and eventually concrete action. This is the key point. So it's important to start with just a little step, one little step for mankind, right? One little step, and the feedback loop gets started. It gets put into motion, and the actions do follow. It only takes a simple abstract thought, and before you know it, you're doing things positively to improve your health. That's how it works. If you study things carefully, if you study the chain of reaction, so to speak. All of this circles around to feelings of gratitude, which in a positive manner also improve your mental health, your state of being. Another facet of this feedback loop is mindfulness, because when we think positively, we become grateful for the eventual effect. We are then in the moment when we are being grateful, right? Try it once. Do the experiment yourself. You'll be amazed. When you do things in a conscientious, positive manner, you are aware of your being, performing these little rituals, performing positive actions that help yourself, help your own body, help your health. You become aware of what you are doing to help yourself. And with this renewed sense of self, you apply that to your mind, and your mind takes over and forces you to basically repeat and rinse and repeat. It becomes a habit. This is again another facet. This is how habits form. You do things over and over again, and before you know it, your body takes over. It becomes autonomic. The same applies to negative thoughts, by the way, the same thing. So if you start out in a negative mindset, you have a negative effect on your body that forces you to think negatively about yourself, and so on and so forth. You go into a negative or positive loop depending on your mindset. And so, given that we have a choice, hey, as I've said already in this video, why not pick the positive? It doesn't take much more effort than the negative, so might as well just go for the positive. I will conclude by saying it is so important to engage our minds, our brains, in our physical presence in this life, on our health, on our day-to-day life, on our mental perception of life, on our expectations of life. All of these feedback from body to mind to heart to soul to emotions to feelings to spiritual realms. I almost feel like I'm talking blah blah. It's a woohoo video today. But in the end, just from observing other people's experiences, hearing other people's tales, now in the internet, there's a lot of information from people far and wide, not just people in our own circle of friends and family. The more we hear about these things, the more we must somehow think to ourselves, there is something to this. And in fact, there is. We may not understand it fully, but the information is there. The evidence is there more and more. It's no longer woohoo. So, what do you think? Have you come across positive mindsets making a big difference? Or, in the same vein, negative mindsets making a negative impact on health, on life in general, on even relationships, on work, any aspect of life? Tell me all in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories on this particular topic. If you have any other questions on medicine in general, I'm the person to ask. Go on, Askadoc.